for. Lock your radio dial on AM 1300 KGLO.
Well, if it's Tuesday, that must mean only one thing. Wednesday's tomorrow. No, just kidding. That's true.
Whoa.
Just trying to give it a little extra break.
We're starting off heavy.
Yeah. That's why I'm the information man around here. Got to get you all figured out on that. So anyway, what I should have said is it's Pet of the Week with Sybil Soukup from the Humane Society of North Iowa here on KGLO, streaming live online at KGLOAM.com and in our KGLO News Facebook page as well. And how are things going?
Good.
Since I haven't seen you, I technically have not seen, well, I haven't seen you in 2 weeks.
Right. You had.
Molly was here.
Yeah.
In my spot last week.
You were off on vacation, totally not thinking about work and having a good time, right?
Sure.
Right.
Sure. We're going to say that.
And Molly and I, Molly did a great job. I in my short segment here with her during the whole week.
I watched it.
The
online
had
version.
A good time.
Watched it.
So you were thinking of work.
Well, I was.
You missed us.
I was helping her out a little bit behind the scenes while I was still sleeping in for the most part.
Nice.
And, yes. So, So anyway, what are we going to talk about this week?
Well, summer is. Can you believe it? Summer is kind of coming to an end.
Yeah, I know.
I feel like I really didn't get a chance to have much of a summer. Like, I was very busy.
The older you get, the quicker it flies by.
Oh my gosh, I'm old.
I didn't say that.
That's okay.
I'm just saying, we all are perspectives of
beginning of summer. You say, "Oh, I'm going to do everything and everything this summer," and then it's July, and you're like, "Oh my gosh, I've done nothing." And now all of a sudden, it's the middle of August, and the kids are going back to school.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that means, though, the shelter has been very busy all summer long with kids and volunteers. But now that the kids are going back to school, we're, a lot of our volunteers are kids. And so we're in need of volunteers. Also, at the end of the summer means that our cat population, finally, somebody shuts the flow off a little bit. Not shuts it off, actually slows the flow. We seem to, in the spring and the summer months, just get a huge influx of cats, kittens, pregnant cats who give birth in the shelter, and we're just overwhelmed with cats.
Is there any reason why? Or is it just because
natural
it's summer?
Mother
summer.
Nature breeding times?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So, we just naturally get in a lot of cats over the summer months. And so now in the fall, hopefully, we did just have a cat go into labor last week, though, and so she's having kittens. She had kittens at the shelter. She was still in labor when I left, so I'm not sure exactly how many she ended up having, but anyway, hopefully those numbers are slowing down. I did check this morning. I think we had 87 cats in the shelter right now, but that doesn't include those that aren't listed online or in foster care, or like those kittens that were just given birth to. So we still have lots and lots of kitties, but I want to talk about a beautiful dog named Fran this morning.
Okay.
Franny Fran. She is one of our many husky mixes. She's a lab husky. I talk about this on several times with you, Bob, that, huskies and German shepherds are very popular breeds in the shelter right now.
Right.
And I don't know, I'm not much of a TV person, so I don't know if there's a TV show out there that features a husky or a German shepherd or something, but we have a lot. And people get them, and these are highly intelligent dogs, breeds that they need to have a job. They're working breed dogs.
Right.
And, so if you don't give them a job and something to do, they'll find something to do. It's called get themselves in trouble.
Right.
And they require a lot of, teaching and schedule and, keeping them on a routine. Otherwise, they can be, naughty dogs in your home. And so some people that don't do all those things, they say, well, this is too much for me. And then their dog ends up in the shelter.
Right.
So Fran is one of those that she originally came to the shelter as a stray and was never reclaimed. And I've said this a million times before too, but every dog in our shelter was once someone's pet.
Right.
We don't have wild pack animals running around the streets of Mason City that I know of.
That you know of.
Right. So she was someone's pet, and just was not reclaimed. So she was with us for a while. She's a lab husky mix. So she's kind of a chocolate lab, but the husky part in her is she's got that beautiful, fluffy, curved husky tail, and she's got one blue eye, the husky eye, which makes her very unique and very beautiful. But Fran, I had to verify her age. We're putting her at about 2.5 years old. She was in our shelter for quite some time, and then she was adopted into a really great family. Things were going well, and then their circumstances changed, and they no longer had the time for her that she required. And we get that happens. Maybe somebody had to go back to work, or maybe their shift changed, or maybe just we get it. Things change.
Yeah.
So Fran came back to the shelter, and now here she is again, looking for her third chance at a forever home.
Jeez.
She is a beautiful girl, though. I mean, she's such a loyal dog. That lab in her, and that husky in her makes her beautiful, but also very energetic. She would need to be at a home where she's going to get the attention that she requires. This is not a dog for people that are working full time and gone all the time. She wants to be part of the action. She wants to connect with her people, and then she wants to be by her people. So, maybe you're, one of you stays at home during the day, or maybe you work split shifts and one of you is home, during the day and one in the night. But, certain situations would work better for Fran than like full-time people that are people that are working full-time.
Sure.
She'd also would probably do best in a home that didn't have small kids, like toddler kids. She is very excited to meet people, and we'd be afraid that she'd be a little rough, not rough like mean, but wrestling rough with younger kids. So older kids would be best for Fran, that know how to handle a husky with her kind of energy. But she is a delightful dog. We always really don't like to see when a dog comes back to the shelter, especially when it's no fault of their own, which is the case with her. And so, but we're glad to have them back instead of seeing them dumped somewhere else.
Right.
So then we can find them a new home.
And that's the big thing. Like you mentioned, there were circumstances that were unforeseen, probably when it's adopted, and that happens sometimes, unfortunately. But like you say, fortunately, like you say, wasn't dumped off someplace in the middle of nowhere and roaming around, and who knows what would happen. So,
or given away to somebody else who also didn't have time for her, and then give it away to someone else, and those kind of things. That kind of instability really alters a dog and makes them, more problematic for future homes. And so, we love Fran, and we want her to find that forever home that has that time for her. And, this experience of sending her out and having her come back in helped us learn a little bit more about what kind of homes that she requires. And so I just am very confident that there's a home out there for Fran, as there is with every dog in our care. And we just hope that somebody out there is listening right now and that they'll come meet Fran. You can look at her on our website right now if you're at home on your phone, or at work on your phone, whatever.
Wherever you can access the internet.
Right. So our website is hsni.org. That's HSNI is in Humane Society North Iowa .org. And then there's a little search tool on the right-hand side of the homepage. You can just type in Fran, F-R-A-N. Or even better, you can come see her in person. We're open Tuesday through Friday, 10 to 4, Saturday, 10 to 2.
Now, if somebody's online and browsing Fran, or, all the other potential pets to take home with them online, what's the next step in the process? People may not understand the process.
Sure.
I know we talk about this every so often, but we always have new listeners and whatnot. So
so it's always great to know the process too, though. There's not like here's step 1, step 2, step 3, but a basic step might be that, maybe you see a dog online, or maybe you're at the shelter and you see a dog that you're interested, or maybe you just think that, we don't have anybody right now that you think that you're interested in, but maybe we will in the future. The first step would be to fill out an application in any of those scenarios. And you fill out the application in the mindset of, what kind of dog you want to adopt, or if you have one picked out like Fran. And we ask a lot of questions. It's a 2-pager of an application. But we want to make sure that every dog that in our care is going to a home that is going to be able to provide for their needs and is an appropriate match for that home,
Right.
but also that that your home is an appropriate match for them, and that our dog is an appropriate match for you. So we want to make sure that everything is a good fit. So we do ask a lot of questions, and then we review that application. And there's some really basic things that are just hold true with every application, like, do you own your home?
Yeah.
And if you don't, that's not a problem. But then we just have to call the landlord or the owner or the whomever and just make sure it's okay that you have a pet, or if there's any restrictions or a pet deposit or anything.
Right.
So we want to make sure and follow the rules. And then the next step would be then if you currently have a pet, like if you currently have a dog and you're applying for another dog, at some point we'd have you bring your dog to the shelter. We'd schedule that with you. And then the two dogs can meet each other on neutral turf at the shelter. And just to make sure everybody's going to get along.
Right.
That's very important. And, I would say a majority of the time, we call those meet and greets. A majority of the time, those go really well. But, there are plenty of occasions where they don't. Either the current dog in the household is like, I don't want a new friend.
Right.
Or the dog in the shelter is like, I want to, I don't want to be in the shelter, but I don't want this guy as my new friend.
Right.
So, it's making sure that it's going to be a good fit in that puzzle as well. And then, sometimes we have animals that can go home right away. They've had all their vet work done. They've been spayed or neutered. But sometimes, especially with kittens and puppies, when we have puppies, we need to wait for them to get to a certain age or weight. And then we can send them in for their vet work to get
Sure.
spayed or neutered. So, there's no like real black and white process. There's a little bit of a gray area there. There has been plenty of occasions where somebody comes in and says, I want to adopt that cat or I want to adopt that dog, and everything checks out on their app. They don't have any other pets, and boom, the animal goes with them that day. But then there's other times where it takes a little bit longer and the
Sure.
process is drawn out. So to answer the question,
You answered it.
there is no
perfectly.
process.
There's a process, but there's not a process.
There's several steps. Yeah.
Sure.
Yep.
Sure. And if, you talked about volunteers, I don't want to say volunteers of any age because you have a little bit of a age restriction on the younger side of things, but I'm sure you would take older kids and adults of all ages.
Yep. Well, volunteers of all ages are welcome, but if a volunteer is 15 or younger,
Yeah.
they need to be with an adult that's 18 or older at all times. It could be mom, dad, older sibling, guardian, grandma, grandpa, whatever. 16 and 17 can volunteer unsupervised, but they need to have a visitor form completed and signed by that parent or that guardian
Sure.
to say it's okay that they're out there volunteering on their own. I mean, you're handling large animals
Yeah.
individually and unsupervised. We assist all we can, but there's only a handful of staff out there, and we
Right.
often have a lot of volunteers in the building. So we aren't able to, be a part of every interaction with every volunteer. And so we want to make sure that our volunteers are able to be there, first of all, but then also knowledge. Like we show every volunteer what to do, where to go, where the leashes are. We give them the rules, the safety tips. Anybody 18 or older can just show up and volunteer, but everybody, if you're going to leave our lobby, whether it's to look at animals or walk a dog or play with the cats, you do have to fill out a visitor form.
Sure.
And that's just, again, acknowledging that you
Yeah.
understand the rules. And then the other big one is make sure you wear sturdy tennis shoes if you're going to walk a dog.
No sandals.
No slides.
No
No flip flops. Sandals with a back to them, like a heel.
Sure.
That's fine. Just shoes that a dog isn't going to be able to pull you out of easily.
Right.
So those are, the basic rules, but we welcome group visits and we get a lot of group visits, but we do ask that those be scheduled in advance so that we don't get multiple scheduled at the same time.
Right.
Yep.
All right. We'll leave it at that unless you have anything else.
Well, all that information can be found about volunteering, information about Fran, and information about all of our animals that we have available for adoption is available on our website, which again is hsni.org, hsni.org, HSNI is in Humane Society North Iowa.org.
All right. Sybil, we appreciate it as always. We'll
Thank you.
Talk to you next week.
Sounds good.
Sybil Soukup of the Humane Society of North Iowa here in your hometown news station, AM 1300